We've been studying about Joseph, and remember, in the book of Genesis, it's divided by 3 parts. The first part is about Adam and Eve and Noah, kind of how everything began. The second part is about Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and their life stories. And the third part is about Joseph. And quite a bit of the book of Genesis is devoted to Joseph. We know that Joseph grew up in this area here. He is now over here in Egypt, just to give a perspective of where he went to. He has been made, as of last week, he has been made second command of all of Egypt, from a slave to head of a powerful household to prison to now second command of the greatest country in the world. At this time, it had the best army, we believe, best we can tell from our limited archaeological finds, because it was a long time ago, and things like papyrus don't survive very well after thousands of years. So best we can tell, Egypt had the biggest, most powerful army at this time in history. And Joseph is in charge of it. And he spent 7 years taxing the people at 20%, just like he had told Pharaoh that should be done. And they gathered all the grain into storehouses throughout the land of Egypt. Then the famines hit. And there would be 7 years of famine, just like the dream to Pharaoh last week promised. And the first year or two, people had enough food in their homes. They were okay. But then they began to run out of food. So they came to Joseph and they said, you know, it doesn't do you any good as the leader of Egypt if we starve to death. So how about if we sell you all of our animals? And so he traded all their animals for grain so that they could have food to eat. Because the animals wouldn't do the people any good if they all starved to death, because there was no food for them either. The next year, they came to him and they said, you know, we don't have any animals left. How about if you buy all of our land and us? Then we don't have to worry about eating, because we're your property and you can feed us. So from that time on, the Pharaoh owned all of the land of Egypt. Literally, it was his property. All the people were his servants, except for any priests for their religion. They received a regular gift from the Pharaoh, so they didn't have to sell themselves. But everybody else in the country now belonged to Pharaoh, so because they belonged to him, he feeds them. The famine was so great that it spread at least from Egypt to Canaan's land. We don't know how much further that it spread during this time, but we know that Canaan's land was very much short of food. They did have, evidently, fruit from trees. The trees were surviving okay, but they couldn't grow any grain. They couldn't grow grass for the animals, things like that. So Jacob's family is getting hungry. So Jacob tells his sons, he's got 11 of them around him. He thinks Joseph's dead. He tells Benjamin, you stay here, but I want the other 10 of you to pack up some money, and I want you to go to Egypt because I heard they have food in Egypt. So you go to Egypt and you buy some food for us. So Joseph's 10 older brothers arrived in Egypt, and it came their turn to come to him because he was in charge of selling the grain. And they said, we need to buy some grain. Now, they said that in Hebrew, and they said it to an interpreter who then told Joseph. Joseph didn't need the interpreter, but he didn't tell them that he understood what they were saying. So he pretended that he needed the interpreter to talk to them. He told them, you need food? No, you don't need food. You're spies. You're from an enemy nation, and you're here to spy us out so you can conquer the nation, conquer our country. And they all just went, what? No, we're not spies. We're 10 brothers. We have a little brother back home, and we have a brother who died. But we're honest men, and we just need food to feed our families. And Joseph said, nah, you're spies. And he threw them all in jail. And I don't know how much he enjoyed doing this. I think some people would. Most people probably would. After 3 days, he pulled them out of jail and he said, okay, I actually fear God, so I want one of you to stay here in prison and the rest of you to go home and get your little brother you say you have and bring him back here to me. And that will prove that you really are who you say you are. So they put Simeon, in prison. We'll pick one at random. They put Simeon in prison and kept him in Egypt. They gave them food for their families. And Joseph said, you know what? I don't want their money. It's my family. I don't want my family to starve to death. He put their money back in their bags and sent them home. Well, when they got to the first hotel on the way home, they opened their bags to feed their animals, and their money was in their bags, and they panicked. They said, now he's going to accuse us of being thieves as well as spies. What do we do? Well, they went on home, and they told Jacob, and Jacob said, there is no way on planet Earth I am letting Benjamin go to Egypt. Joseph is dead. Simeon is dead. Gave up on him already. Simeon is dead. And I'm not letting you take Benjamin. He's the only other son I have from Rachel. I'm not going to let you take him. End of story. Surely it's going to rain and we'll have food before long. And we're going to leave him there for tonight, for today, for the next week. Okay, let's sing a song. The Lord is my shepherd.